Severe torrential rainfall and flooding between July 16th and 20th caused a series of landslides across Sichuan province, one of China's most geologically vulnerable regions. With relentless downpours overwhelming the terrain, hillsides buckled under pressure, sending thousands of cubic meters of debris crashing down in several counties, cutting off roads, damaging infrastructure, and forcing communities to evacuate in a race against the shifting earth. The disaster unfolded across multiple locations, but the worst incidents were recorded in Luding County, Leibo County, and parts of Ya'an and Ganzi prefectures. This week's rain total in some zones surpassed 200 initr, triggering slope failures in areas already marked as high-risk zones by provincial monitoring systems. One of the most damaging slides occurred in Luding County on the morning of July 19th, after back-to-back days of rainfall. At approximately 7:30 a.m., a saturated slope gave way near a section of National Highway G318, a major transport route linking Sichuan to Tibet. The slide released an estimated 15,000 cubic meters of rock, soil, and uprooted vegetation, bearing roughly 70 meters of highway and completely halting all traffic. The mountainous landscape around Luding had been under observation for days. Local authorities had flagged it for high geological risk as rainfall steadily saturated the underlying red bed rock and clay-rich layers. Once that critical saturation threshold was crossed, the slope's stability failed. Fortunately, due to early monitoring and warning systems, evacuation orders were issued just hours before the landslide occurred. Emergency responders arrived within minutes. Teams from the local Transport Bureau, Geological Survey Center, and fire services set up a temporary command post on higher ground. Excavators and drones equipped with thermal and radar imaging were deployed to scan for secondary risks and help plan the debris removal. By nightfall, rescue units had opened a one-lane temporary bypass and began installing protective mesh and rock anchors to stabilize the surrounding slope. Just 24 hours later, Another large-scale landslide struck Leibo County in Liangshan Yi Autonomous Prefecture on July 20th. This area, deeply cut by rivers and steep ridgelines, has a long history of landslides, following 5 consecutive days of downpour. The hillside above Wuxihe Township collapsed in the afternoon, carrying down boulders the size of small cars and destroying terraced farmland below. The slide measured approximately 300 meters wide and involved over 20,000 cubic meters of material. The area's loose soil and heavily fractured rock contributed to the speed and volume of the collapse. No residences were directly impacted, but emergency evacuations were conducted as a precaution in the downstream valley. Engineers from Sichuan's Provincial Geological Disaster Monitoring Center later confirmed that cracks had been forming on this slope for weeks, and the July rain had simply accelerated the inevitable failure. Crews have since cordoned off the area and initiated terrain reshaping and drainage improvements to prevent follow-up events. And the Ebian-Yingjing corridor, many of which affected rural roads, utility poles, and hillside agricultural plots. In some cases, road access was severed for hours, while local teams worked overnight to restore connectivity. Advanced surveillance systems, including real-time rainfall monitors, slope vibration sensors, and aerial drone mapping, were used to detect and mitigate additional risks. The response to this week's landslides reflected Sichuan's evolving capabilities in disaster management. Across the province, over 3,000 personnel, including geologists, fire crews, rescue workers, and transport engineers, were mobilized within 24 hours. In high-risk areas, temporary slope barriers were built using eco-friendly materials such as sandbags, vegetative nets, and water-diverting trenches. Sichuan has invested heavily in early warning infrastructure in recent years. In Luding and Leibo, communities had already undergone emergency evacuation drills, which helped reduce confusion and ensured swift relocations when warnings were issued. Rain-triggered alert levels were raised to level 2, one notch below the highest state of emergency. The landslides between July 16 and 20 serve as another stark reminder that Sichuan's natural beauty comes with inherent danger. The events in Luding, Leibo, and other regions were driven not just by heavy rainfall, but also by deep-rooted vulnerabilities in the land itself. Thanks for watching Severe Weather, where we break down the facts behind nature's most intense moments. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel going. Hit the bell so you never miss a real, calm, and clear report. Note: some footage in this video may be used for illustration and may not show the exact event described. See you in the next one. Stay informed, stay safe,